Hey team, okay, week 3 of sleep. Week 1 was about just getting a baseline of our sleep and tracking what was going on there. Week 2 was about setting up our environment, so making sure that the room that we were sleeping in was set up to help improve our sleep as much as we could. Week 3 is about our own habits, the things that we do that are going to influence and hopefully improve our sleep as well. Now, let's get straight into it. Your sleep routine starts in the morning. So we're not talking about just before bed, what do you do? It starts the morning you wake up. So one of the things that has an impact on your sleep is your circadian rhythm. And one of the things that massively influences your circadian rhythm is daylight. So trying to make sure that you get some daylight, and it doesn't even have to be loads, but at least sort of 10 to 15 minutes per day of daylight is going to help trigger or encourage your circadian rhythm to know that it's daytime. And when that happens early, it's almost like starting the process from earlier in the morning, which I know that we don't have at the minute. If you're getting up before the sun is up, then you're not getting that natural daylight straight away. There are lamps that can do it, but kind of the earliest opportunity for you, which might be lunchtime or it might be after work, I'm not too sure, but looking for the closest opportunity to getting some daylight for you is going to help with your sleep at night. There is something that builds up throughout the day called adenosine, and adenosine is something that at night kind of makes you feel tired. When you are letting your body know that it's daytime, that adenosine build up is kind of encouraged, or it's being told that yes, now is daytime, this is the thing to be happening. The same thing goes for moving your body. So once you've got up in the morning, some form of movement or activity, whether that is a little walk or working out training, or maybe even like a little bit of yoga or something, but moving earlier on, again, is a signal to your body that it's daytime. And so that process of kind of going through daytime, building up that adenosine, and by the time you get to the evening, you feel sleepy, that's going to be encouraged along the way as well. So daylight and movement earlier in the day, if possible, is going to be something that helps you sleep later at night. Now we're going to move forwards to about midday, early afternoon. You might know what I'm going to say. We need to stop our consumption of caffeine. As a kind of rule of thumb, we're looking at about maybe 2 o'clock, potentially earlier, just depending on how sensitive you feel to caffeine. But caffeine has a half-life of something like 5 or 6 hours, which means after 5 or 6 hours, you've still got half of that caffeine in your body. And what caffeine does is blocks the receptors to adenosine. So that chemical that's building up in your body that makes you feel sleepy at night is being blocked by the caffeine. So we're aiming to stop that happening so that that adenosine can build up, so that we are letting the caffeine that we have consumed dissipate enough that we can feel tired at night. So stopping somewhere between midday and 2 o'clock, I would say, is a good shout for any kind of caffeine. Rest. Now, rest is a really important thing, but you can get too much sleep, and what your body is looking for in terms of recovery is impacted by how much sleep you're getting. Obviously, I mean, I'm teaching you to suck eggs, but basically what I'm kind of about to get at is that if you are having naps at a point where you don't need any more sleep, then of course that is going to impact your sleep later on. So when you do sleep, your body starts to clear that adenosine, and then when it is getting kind of cleared by the morning, you start to wake up again. If you're having a nap, you're clearing some of that adenosine, which means that when you try to go to sleep, you haven't built up enough adenosine to get a good night's sleep. And the problem with that is when you have a nap, you're not going through the full sleep cycle, so you're not getting the same level of good quality sleep and the same benefits that you would get from going through deeper sleep cycles, going into REM sleep, and releasing like growth hormone and all of these benefits that you get from a proper night's sleep. We're not going to get as much from a short burst of sleep, but we are going to get kind of like the negative side effects that might impact our sleep later on. Now, I will say, if you are lacking sleep, it's probably a good thing, because you're going to kind of recoup some of that lost sleep. It's not as good as getting a proper night's sleep, I don't think, but at least you're getting something. So if you're in almost like a sleep deficit, having some naps is not a bad thing. But if you're in a sleep surplus, having some naps is probably not a good thing. Okay, then we're moving on to your pre-bedtime routine. So we spoke a little bit in our sleep environment about like stopping blue light and making the room dark, quiet, and all of these things. So this starts to play into what your bedtime routine is as well. At what point are you kind of logging off your brain, switching off from kind of any kind of stimulating light like TV or your phone or tablets, and giving yourself an opportunity for that light and that stimulus to dissipate. So either encouraging your brain to think and work, or just pumping light into your eyes that makes you feel like or makes your body think that it's daytime when it's actually time to be falling asleep. So having at least a 30-minute window before going to sleep to start to essentially log your body off and give it a chance to fall into a state where it is going to sleep well is going to be more effective. Now, I hear this all the time. When I scroll on my phone for a bit, or when I watch a bit of TV, I sleep better. No, you don't. I'm sorry. You might feel like you do. It's the same argument that people have around like alcohol, for example. So alcohol is a relaxant. And with relaxing a little bit, it might make you think that you're sleeping better, but it doesn't. It's more like, what's the word? It's more like it sedates. So rather than it actually improving your sleep, it might do some kind of, or have some kind of sedating effect where it makes you mentally feel a little bit calmer. But in terms of the actual knock-on effect that it has to your sleep, it's detrimental. That's for alcohol and for things like blue light, watching your phone and stuff like that. You might think it's okay. I promise you, it's not. I used to think it myself. I used to think like, oh, relaxation, there's probably enough benefit from that actually outweighs the negative side effect. And potentially there's still an element of truth in that, but I would suggest that you can have both. You can relax a different way, get that kind of winding down feeling a different way, and then have a better sleep as well, because it's not come from alcohol or blue light or anything like that. Sorry, guys. Dim the lights or turn off screens, make everything cool, calm, chill, relaxed. Some people will also benefit from a little gentle stretch as well. Again, you're going to sleep in a more relaxed state, not just mentally, but physically. Your body is a little bit more relaxed, so sometimes a little stretch is quite nice. Reading, journaling, anything that can help you log yourself off a little bit, zone out a little bit, is going to probably be beneficial, as long as it doesn't come with a stimulant of some kind. I have often said to people, when your mind is racing and you're struggling to sleep, that it might be worth having a pad and a pen next to your bed, where you can write down your thoughts, write down what's going on, purely for the purposes of knowing that it's still there to be dealt with when you need to the next day, but at least you don't have to hold on to that information in your brain. So it kind of gives you a sense of ease, where you're kind of giving yourself permission to fall asleep, because you don't have to forget what's going on and then that be a problem, because you've got it written down there for you to deal with when you're awake again, but you don't have to be running through that in your brain over and over again. Now, if you're in a state where it feels like you're having a hard time and there's a lot of struggles that you're facing at the minute, then this is where things like gratitude and potentially journaling comes in. But gratitude is a practice of thinking of, things that you are grateful for, with the idea being that you realign some focus and some balance to recognizing that whilst there are hard things going on, there are also some good things too. And so instead of being so focused on the things that you're finding difficult and hard, you also recognize that there are really good positives going on in your life, and then that can give you, again, a little bit of a sense of ease that it's not all bad. Now, none of these are absolute solutions, but they're all things that can help aid you with your sleep. There are other things as well. I'm sure there are a bunch of other things that we can do as our within our own habits and with our own things. And if you guys have got any things that you do or any suggestions, then please let us know. But hopefully this is another thing for you to consider. Now, to take away from this and to actually implement this, I would say just pick one or two things and create a little bit of a plan on a bit of paper. I like to make it real, make it physical. One or two things that you don't currently do that you could do that aren't too difficult, that from the information that I've given you could help you with your sleep. Whether that is, do you know what, while I'm at work I don't get any daylight, but I could pop out at lunch for 10 minutes, get a bit of daylight and see if that helps. Great, that's one thing for you to try. If it is, you know, reading 5 pages of a book before bed instead of scrolling through your phone, let's do that. Whatever it is, just pick one or two little things, let's implement it, stick with it for long enough that it can have an effect. And even if you don't notice it straight away, because there are a lot of variables that can influence your sleep as well, but even if you don't notice it straight away, the chances are it is going to be beneficial and it is going to have a positive impact. Like I say, once we improve sleep, I'll kind of merge that with training and nutrition, and you guys are absolutely smashing life and off to the races. So good luck.